That brings us to... Now, we should also probably mention we're filming this on another Wednesday, so we won't be able to have a SmackDown.
Yep.
But again, decorations. We made up for that.
We made up for it. Spotify listeners, check out the YouTube. Look at the setup.
Look at the setup, brother.
Look at the setup.
All right, so let's kick it off with Monday Night Raw. What an interesting show this was.
Yeah, man. Starts off with Gunther coming out.
Coming out.
Talking about his accomplishments and being the ring general and the new king of the ring.
New king of the ring. And very much well-deserved king of the ring.
Yep. Talking about how he didn't have to cheat his way to it. He didn't get no shortcuts to it. And then Damian Priest comes out because he was definitely aiming that towards Damian Priest. You say cheat.
I mean, Randy's shoulder was clear up.
Yes.
The people were chanting for Randy on Raw, which I thought was interesting.
And you could tell that wasn't supposed to happen because they just passed by and they didn't say anything about it, you know. But Damian came out. He said, I had to face, was it 7? How many guys was in the Money in the Bank?
I don't remember how many.
7 other guys to win this briefcase. So I actually did make my way here. That's how it works. You know how business works. That's what he said.
Hey, Priest is all about business.
Priest is all about the business. In fact, Priest was the only one in the ring with the rest of the Judgment Day outside the ring. He wanted to be that personal. He's
got some stones on him. I'll give him that.
Yep. Then after that, Drew McIntyre the number 1 contender, heads into the ring.
Clash at the Castle will be Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Which you said before, you think Drew McIntyre and Gunther will be for the title. Do you think?
I mean, it's possible.
Do you think that it's a better matchup to see Damian Priest and Gunther or Drew McIntyre and Gunther?
Well, let's take a look at it. Let's start with, typically in a match, you have a good guy, you have a bad guy.
That's right.
Now, at this time, unless things change, Damian Priest is a bad guy.
All 3 of them are bad guys, if you think about it.
I feel like Drew McIntyre is kind of in the middle.
Yeah. He's
only bad if it benefits him, and he'll only be good if it benefits him. He's kind of just looking out for himself, and he'll do whatever it takes.
He's at the point where he's not doing things like heel would do.
But he's not doing things that babyface would do.
He doesn't like the crowd or anything like that.
I mean, I feel like Drew McIntyre and Gunther would be a banger match. Damian Priest versus Gunther would be a banger match.
Here's the thing about Drew McIntyre and Gunther, though. We've already seen this match. For the Intercontinental Championship.
For the Intercontinental Championship.
And Gunther came out on top. In my opinion, for a big event like SummerSlam, we need something new for this.
You think Damian Priest is the guy?
Either Damian Priest or we did see Braun Strowman at the end. Maybe Braun Strowman's added to that
as I would think that Money in the Bank will come before SummerSlam.
That's right.
So things could change. You never know. They could cash in at that night, Money in the Bank.
That's right.
They could cash in the Raw after Money in the Bank.
That's the thing, though.
Things could change.
There's so much with who's going to be in this Money in the Bank match. My opinion is probably CM Punk.
If he's healed, if he's cleared.
Yeah.
He looks good.
Because I don't think Cody's going to lose his title to a Money in the Bank cash-in.
Yeah.
Or if he does, then I guess other people are see, the person that defeated Roman Reigns didn't lose his title in a one-on-one match maybe. But I don't know. But with SummerSlam, I'm guessing we're going to see Cody and The Rock.
That would make the most sense.
It makes the most sense.
And I'm pretty sure The Rock just wrapped up finishing up Moana 2.
He did. So that means
he's also filming some UFC movie.
Really?
So he might be busy doing that too. But
is he a lead role in that, though?
He's the lead role.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's kind of interesting. Y'all gotta go look at the pictures. He looks unrecognizable for the role.
Really?
He has hair and he just looks very different. But but we'll see. Hopefully, I would imagine it'll be Rock versus Cody. Now let me ask you this. I've been seeing a lot of things. Do you think that we should get a Cody versus Roman 3? We've got each got one apiece against one another on one-on-one competition.
I would like to see it, but before we go to there, I think we should also deal with the bloodline and what's going on in that.
A lot of bloodline stuff going on.
All that stuff going on down there.
But let's stick on Raw for right now.
Yeah.
First match of the night, Braun Strowman versus JD McDonough.
Yeah. First of all, we all knew who was going to win this match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with the interference of Finn Balor and Carlito. Braun Strowman got the job done.
He was not faced. He just dominated the entire match. As soon as he won the match, though, Finn Balor and Carlito started attacking him and stuff.
Yeah.
And now we finally see that Carlito is probably
if you notice, at the end of the match, McDonough tried to attack Strowman with a steel chair.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. It looked like it did phase him, but it also looked like he was trying his best not to make it look like it phased him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got out of the ring. It looked like he was limping for a while.
Yeah.
Chased after JD and was chasing him all over the arena, all the way up until we see him later at the end of the night.
Yeah. Next match, however, we do get to see Ricochet and Ilya Dragunov in their one-on-one match. To be honest, this match was great, like their last match that they had for the King of the Ring tournament. But Braun Breaker comes out of nowhere,
came in.
just spears the heck out of Ricochet. So we're seeing and also let's also point this out. Braun Breaker was supposedly suspended for his actions.
He was not
last
supposed
week.
to be there.
Yeah,
Said he was. Adam Pearce said he was at home, just chilling with his suspension.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was not the case.
That was not the case. He once again made a point. We're seeing a really aggressive Braun Breaker here.
Mm-hmm.
A Braun Breaker to where, like, I feel like soon, maybe, like, kind of soon, we'll see him for a intercontinental title shot.
You think he could be the one to take it from Sammy?
He could be.
Or do you think it's Chad Gable?
I think Chad Gable personally should win it.
Yeah. We're going to talk a bit about Chad Gable after what happened Raw.
Definitely.
But next match would be AOP against the Creed brothers. AOP picking up a big W.
And before this, Karrion Kross was having a little controversial stuff with the New Day before that. So we're going to see a lot of potential rivalries with all the tag teams on
Especially
Raw.
after the draft, everybody switched up. So
I think right here they're just trying to
matchups.
show everyone how powerful AOP is and what their intentions are. Scarlett costing the match for them, pushing Ivy Nile into the steel steps, distracting them. That's how AOP gets a win. But let's not take any credit off of AOP. Those guys are
big boys.
Incredible. Former Raw Tag Team Champions, former NXT Tag Team Champions. These guys are massive, and they're here to make
Don't take away from the
point.
Creed brothers either.
Of course.
Athletes of the highest caliber.
Did you see Julius picking up one of them? They're about to do the...
Don't count them out. There's some strong boys, too. They're strong.
Yeah.
And I was seeing something that some people feel like it's they're kind of cool with the Creed brothers losing a bit more recently because... They're expecting a change-up coming up soon.
Yeah, with
a heel turn possibly, and them teaming up with Chad Gable.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, Chad Gable is probably going to take them in as his new Alpha Academy, which is what it's looking like. But let's talk about the next match. We'll definitely get to Chad Gable. Have a long, deep conversation about that. Lila Valkyria versus
Kairi Sane. Of Damage Control. With Dakota Kai in her corner.
Yep.
Lyra Valkyria picking up a big W, especially coming off that loss at King and Queen of the Ring.
That's right.
She's going places.
Yep. She's taken out two members of the Damage Control. So
I would like to. What I think is what I like to talk about a bit more is when they went backstage later on.
Yeah.
When Kairi Sane and Dakota Kai got back to the locker room, Io Sky was not happy. She was throwing a tantrum, throwing things, breaking all kinds of stuff.
They're definitely pushing for Io Sky to still be heel and stuff, but like people still love her.
Is Damage Control falling apart? Are we seeing the downward spiral of Damage Control officially?
We're seeing so many like downward like falls with all these groups, but like I don't think they need to take out too many groups at one time. You know, maybe they're just gonna keep egging this on with Damage Control trying to prove themselves, but maybe they're losing and stuff. We'll see.
Because where do they go from here?
That's right.
Where do they go? Who do you pair them up with?
After their failure against Bayley.
Yeah, WrestleMania.
What else can they do?
Where do you put them at?
They lost their tag team championships.
We were expecting Io Sky to go to the Queen of the Ring finals.
That's right.
That didn't happen.
I understand why she's so like disappointed,
upset, frustrated.
We'll see what goes on with that.
A match I think everybody was looking forward to that comes up is Rey Mysterio and Carlito.
This is definitely a match you can see in the pay-per-view.
Finally getting his hands on him.
Yep.
After what had happened, after he attacked Dragon Lee.
Rey Mysterio gets the win.
Gets the big W, even after interference from Judgment Day.
And let's also point out, at the end of this match, they were going to have Dragon Lee jump onto the announce table, but that doesn't go well.
That didn't happen.
Finn Balor and all this other stuff. But
in the end, Rey Mysterio gets his retribution against Carlito, right. Picks up the W with a big old 619.
So we're seeing a lot of Judgment Day and whatchamacallit, their group. LWO stuff. But
I'm always open to seeing more Rey Mysterio out. Anytime. You want to put Rey Mysterio on my screen, I'm all for it.
Chad Gable pumping up Otis for his match. Yes. Braun Strowman still looking.
I was excited for this match. Two big, meaty men going at it.
Yep.
Otis and Big Bronson Reed.
I think Otis would have won this match if it wasn't for Gable.
If it wasn't for Chad Gable.
Otis was about to hit his caterpillar, and Chad Gable stopped him, and that's what cost him the match.
It's not like the caterpillar doesn't work. It's worked many, many times.
I think Chad Gable just wants him to do the elbow drop.
Just do it normally. Just go up and run up and elbow drop him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Otis was feeling it.
Chad Gable was not feeling it.
Yep, as soon as Otis lost the match against Bronson Reed, Chad Gable's like, "You're not done. Get back in here," including the other members of the Alpha Academy.
It got ugly. I mean, he brought in Maxine. He brought in Tozawa.
And he pointed at them and was like, you look at this as like a lesson. Has Otis grab onto the ropes, grabs his own belt.
He's going to whip him.
He was about to whip him.
On live television.
Yep. He said, this is your punishment.
But
kind of weird.
Maxine stops
him from doing it. And then Chad Gable just sends her out. He's like, Tozawa, you watch this.
You watch this. Tozawa was just kind of standing there the whole time.
Tozawa didn't say a word.
This segment went on for probably, about close to 10 minutes? Tozawa was just standing in the ring the whole time.
He didn't want any trouble.
Not doing anything.
Sami Zayn comes out talking to Otis. He's saying, how much more of this crap are you going to take from him?
Both Otis and Tozawa, because Maxine's backstage at this point.
Yeah.
Sami and Maxine kind of crossed paths at the entrance ramp, but she went backstage and then it all broke loose. They all started fighting each other. Gable got the upper hand on Sami, hit a German suplex.
That's right. Then
how much longer do you think Alpha Academy's got? Because it doesn't look good. There's only so much Coach Gable's going to take.
It really depends what's Otis's next move. Of course, Akira and Maxine, they're not with it. We can see that, but Otis, he's not with it, but he's still doing it. With Otis, he was gonna help out Sami, but then he was like, "Oh, never mind. I should just let Gable do his thing." And Otis left with him.
Yeah,
not very happy.
No, not at all.
Sami keeps telling Otis to listen to the fans, listen to the crowd, and Otis is just—he's thinking about it, but he's not doing it.
It seems like he can't, especially when he's wrestling. He can't help but feel the crowd, listen to the crowd.
Yeah,
he just can't help it. It's just who he is.
Mm-hmm. We also see Judgment Day business in the back.
Yes.
With Damian Priest not happy with Dominic.
He's really getting frustrated with people. They're always getting involved in other people's businesses and kind of feels like they're in places they shouldn't be. Like Dominic getting involved in the women's world title match. He didn't.
Dominic said he contacted Rhea and Rhea said it was all right and stuff.
Yeah.
But is he being? And also, we also saw Damian getting on to Finn Balor and JD for talking to Liv Morgan backstage and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, JD and Finn are like, but we said you don't deserve that title and things like that. But who knows?
Is that really what they said?
I think this is really setting up for a betrayal against Damian Priest.
Are they turning on Damian Priest?
And having Liv join the group. Because then we can see, once again, like I said last week, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, headed right at it.
Oh, that'd be a good match.
Yep.
Speaking of Liv Morgan, main event. Steel cage.
She steals the win.
Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan.
Dominic tries to make things right. He goes to the cage, opens it up for Becky Lynch. Judgment Day comes out and it's like, what are you doing, Dominic? Get
out of here. Then big Braun Strowman comes out.
Yep.
We see him.
We see all of this. Braun Strowman hits Dominic into the door. The door hits Becky Lynch.
And
Liv crawls
slips out, yeah. retains the title.
And at the end, whenever Liv has her championship, she's walking back. Dominic's just sitting there with a mean face, and then she looks at him, and the camera cuts out right there. So we'll see what goes on.
Well, there's footage of what happened after.
Really?
Do you not know what happened after?
No, I didn't see that.
Because I know what you're talking about. The camera cuts.
Yeah.
It only happened on the East Coast.
Oh, boy.
West Coast. Dude, Liv Morgan planted a big fat one on
Really?
Dominic. Kissed him.
I'm
surprised you haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen this.
It's been all over social media.
I
Liv Morgan.
I didn't see that.
She kissed Dominic Mysterio.
A lot of stuff going on.
I would not want to be around Rhea Ripley when she gets back.
Dominic definitely blocked her in his contacts.
I'd clear the hallways. Don't look her in the eyes. She asks you for something, it's yes, ma'am. Absolutely. You don't. There is no when it comes to mommy.
He's sleeping on the couch tonight.
You
that's
already
for
know.
Sure.
Sleeping in the doghouse.
I did not see that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't see it till the next day. I was
Really?
like, that's an odd way to just cut, because it cut to like whatever show was coming up next.
Yeah, I think WWE tried to.
I think it just ran out of time.
Yeah, they just ran out of time.
But I think the people like on the West Coast saw it.
Really?
The East Coast, nobody saw it. But honestly, not a bad Raw, I wouldn't say.
Nah, it definitely adds a lot to Judgment Day.
There was a lot to
of
talk
their
about.
Business.
Lots of. You take away the Liv Morgan stuff and Judgment Day, and then you're taking away the Chad Gable stuff.
I feel like the main part of this like show right now that's like we're not getting much attention to it is the tag team division.
Yeah.
Of course, we did see the AOP and Creed Brothers match, but we haven't seen Awesome Truth one bit.
Well, they did. We saw them. Remember, they were at the ice cream truck.
Well, yeah, but like,
Miz about got canceled.
Yeah, yikes about that.
But it was just a funny little segment with New Day, which I enjoyed.
Let's go ahead and head over to NXT.
NXT, not a bad show. Let me say this about NXT. NXT's getting wild, dude. We saw immediately the debut of Sexy Red.
That's right.
She was something, all right. Oh, my goodness. My parents were in the room when that happened, and they were like, this is wrestling? This is what you guys watch all the time? I was like, I promise, Mom, it's not always like this. She was...
I fast-forwarded it when I
twerking a little bit.
Good thing I wasn't watching that live. I fast-forwarded that. But
I would like to say... With her debut, they revealed the new NXT North American Women's Championship title look. Very nice looking title. And we immediately get our first match of the night. It is a qualifying match for that championship. Meechin versus Tatum Paxley.
Yep, the winner is
Meechin. Meechin picking up the big W.
Once again, why is she in NXT and not in SmackDown? With
I think they just... If they're not putting her with AJ Styles, then what else can you really do with her? Honestly, NXT is the next best thing. I don't sleep on putting people back in NXT. Yes, I would much rather prefer OC being with AJ Styles, but if they're not, giving them a more bigger spotlight on NXT is a better deal, I would say. But Meechin moving on to NXT Battleground at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas.
That's right.
Then we see next match is Ridge Holland versus Riley Osborne.
From Chase U.
From Chase U. So they've tried working together, and it doesn't seem to be working, so they're going to try and work out basically their differences.
Yeah.
And honestly just see who's the better man. Ridge Holland picks up the W.
Yeah, I actually saw this coming. I'm seeing this push for Ridge Holland, and I like it.
Is it?
I like it.
I'm curious to see if you see a heel turn coming up.
Yeah, I could definitely see it.
Maybe with Riley Osborne, because, Ridge Holland went to shake his hand, and Riley Osborne got out of there.
Yeah, we can see that.
Seems like Chase U, there's kind of divide right now. Some people are cool with Ridge Holland, some people aren't.
I'm glad about that, because if they're going to put Chase U in WWE, like the main shows, I don't think it'll work out.
I think it works best with NXT.
Yeah.
Some things work best with NXT, I feel like wouldn't work as well.
But there's also some things...
Because NXT, you would kind of say, kind of feels like the college of WWE.
Well, with NXT as well, there's some things we saw in there that we didn't think would work out in the main shows, but did. We, for example, the Wyatt family. That looks like its own thing for NXT. when people saw that it was going to the main show, they're like excited for it, but they didn't know how it would work.
Mm-hmm.
But with what we've seen, it was the best idea ever.
And there's some things that even I feel like WWE doesn't believe would work in the main roster. And I bring that up for like LA Knight, for example.
Yeah.
LA Knight was very prominent in NXT. You know, he was putting on some matches like with Cameron Grimes. He had a storyline with Ted DiBiase.
That's right.
$1 Million Championship. And then eventually when he comes to the main roster, he eventually gets repackaged as Max Dupree.
Yeah.
With Maximum Male Models. That did not work. Then he reverts back to his LA Knight persona, and it obviously clearly has worked.
Definitely.
You look at him now. But next match for NXT is a tag team match. Lou Gallows and Carl Anderson. More OC versus Idris Enoff and Malik Blade. OC picking up the W.
Of course. I'm glad that they're at least giving him some credit.
Yeah.
You know?
Fraser and Axiom come out and take a little cheap shot at the OC. And it's announced that we will have a tag title match at NXT Battleground between the two teams.
OC better come out on top. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know? If they're not going to do anything with them with AJ, make him do something on NXT, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like my old granddad used to say. I'm just kidding. But,
yeah.
With everything going on in NXT, you know, like the tag team division, there's a lot of potential in there. And I feel like with the OC, maybe like this is like the test to see if they can come back to the main show or not, you know?
Mm-hmm. And you kind of see that with like Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Went
back to NXT, kind of reinvented himself, and now he's back on the main roster.
Definitely.
We'll see how he does. I hope he does well. But here's what I want to talk about probably the most.
Yeah.
Roxanne Perez's partner was announced for the NXT Women's Championship. And it was announced as TNA's knockout champion, Jordynne Grace. Crossover galore.
People were hype. Man.
Nobody expected it.
This is like Family Guy and The Simpsons right here.
Yeah, if they crossed over, that's what it would be like. That's a perfect example.
It's crazy, you know.
And it gets you a little excited because it opens the door of possibilities.
Of course.
Who else could come over?
Yeah.
Jordynne Grace was at the Royal Rumble, put on a great showing. And she could walk out at NXT Battleground as a double champion.
Dude,
what if?
That crowd.
Dude, they went nuts.
Crazed out. Mm-hmm. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, whoever was in charge of making that decision, fantastic. Congrats. But
it's gonna be a banger match.
I'm
pumped.
We'll see how that goes.
NXT Battleground is shaping up to be a banger.
That's probably the highlight of the night,
in
my opinion.
Another women's match. This isn't a qualifying match or anything. Lola Vice versus Ariana Grace. Lola Vice picking up the dominant win.
Yep.
Shayna Baszler ends up coming out trying to fight her, hyping up their NXT Underground match at Battleground. Just another banger match set for Battleground. It's going to be a banger night that night. Lexa King getting a rematch against Dante Chen.
Once again, Lexis King.
Dante Chen.
So much potential in him.
Which one?
Lexis King.
I mean, both of the men.
Yeah.
Dante picking up another W over him again. Little quick surprise win, and Lexis King did not take very well to that.
That's right.
Started beating him up after the match. We'll see what they do with that rivalry. We do see a video promo with Josh Briggs looking to try and maybe reinvent himself a bit, trying to find himself. We then see Sean Spears looking at the monitor after that. It looks like Sean Spears is kind of like almost like a cult leader kind of figure, would you say?
I'd say so.
Looking for lost souls who seem to be kind of misguided and tries to...
I could definitely see something of him in, like, let's say, Uncle Howdy or something like that.
That could be cool.
If he ever goes up to the main roster, you know. We could definitely see something going on over there.
Another women's North American title qualifier. Kalani Jordan versus Ren Sinclair.
And the winner of this match.
Jordan picking up the big W via pinfall to advance to the ladder match at NXT Battleground. Main event of the night, tag team match. We got Trick Williams and Javon Evans with Sexy Red, I might add.
Just remember that.
Taking on the team of Gallus, Joe and Mark. Is it Kofi or Coffee?
I think it's Kofi.
Kofi?
I hope so.
Like Kofi Kingston?
No, maybe not. I don't know. If your last name's Coffee and you're in WWE, that's not a good look.
That's probably not a good last name, I would say. Anyways, Trick and Evans pick up the W.
Of course.
Big win for the two.
I do want to point out. Go ahead, actually.
Well, we see another debut here tonight.
Yep.
We see the debut of Ethan Page.
Yeah.
Former AEW wrestler.
Yeah.
Nobody even knew he had been in negotiations with.
Which,
WWE.
that's my favorite stuff about NXT mostly is like with like people in NXT like in AEW and stuff, we don't hear much about them talking with like Triple H or whoever. With like some people like re-signing back in WWE, like we all see it coming. Like with CM Punk, like people knew he was gonna show up, but it was still super hype.
Yeah.
But like just seeing like random people from AEW or whatever go into WWE, such a surprise,
Yeah. I mean, talk about a debut. I mean, he made his intentions very clear, it seems like.
Yeah.
He's coming for Trick Williams.
That's right.
He's looking to whoop that Trick and become NXT champion.
That's right. Did you hear people saying whoop that Trick in Raw?
Dude, it's all over, dude.
It's all over the place.
Raw, SmackDown, whoever. I'm waiting for them to in AEW to start chanting whoop that Trick. That brings an end to our reviews for this week. Again, we couldn't hit on SmackDown. We'll hit on a bit next episode.
I do want to hit a little bit on Uncle Howdy with the QR code.
Yes, you're our QR. This is what I call our new segment called Detective Caysen Investigates the Uncle Howdy Mystery.
Now, the biggest part of this week is, first of all, people were not happy about Uncle Howdy showing up at the King and Queen of the Ring. They weren't happy that he didn't show up.
Yeah.
But so with the Journal of Uncle Howdy being on a Google and whatever, you can find that through WhatsApp, I'm pretty sure. We get to see a new page that they added to it. There's a new page that said discipline, and it was talking about I get to pick when I show up, not y'all. So we're definitely like seeing like the angry side of Uncle Howdy because like all the letters are red and stuff, But we're seeing a lot of that. We also get to see the therapist. Apparently, she was found. She was okay.
Let's go up for the therapist.
What?
Dude, I don't know who we think. First responders or something? Who found her? I don't know.
I don't think she's the same woman. However, we looked at this. And
conspiracy.
She said, "I'm happy he saved me," and then smiles at the camera like this. And you could tell the video's still rolling because her like head kind of moves a little bit and stuff. So she's just sitting there smiling, like she has like a video where she's saying, "Thank you for all those unconcerned and stuff."
You think it's Uncle Howdy behind the camera?
Maybe.
Or one of the followers?
Yeah. Maybe Uncle Howdy did something to her. I don't know. We're seeing a lot of stuff from it. Like, this is its own separate story just for, like, QR codes, And even Michael Cole, it was acknowledging them as well with, like, the QR code and Ilya Dragunov's entrance. He was like, well, there's another one of those QR codes.
I do find it funny they're now starting to acknowledge it. Even Pat McAfee will say something.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
I was playing WWE 2K the other day, playing as Uncle Howdy, and in his entrance, they're like, we keep seeing these random videos on the internet, but we still don't know what his intentions are and stuff. So I'm cool that they're touching on that in the game as well. Which is actually, I didn't realize they did that.
I didn't know they did that.
I'm guessing it's a little Easter egg I found.
Yeah.